hawajui.
Kila siku ya Jumatano tunaangazia hatua wanazopiga wanawake hawa.
Na naweka gunia kwa mlango, alafu napanda mboga.
We will not go into harambes again.
Zungumzia uongozi, malezi, kilimo na hata afya.
Siwezi kuavote shilingi 350.
Nataka tuchue. Kama ni mbaya, mkuambie tukae nyumbani ama tufanye nini?
Hawana hata maji. Akitafuta mtu amletee maji kwa mtoni, mtu anamuitisha 50 bob.
Ni hapa kwenye West TV Staftahi kila siku ya Jumatano.
Wengi walikuwa washakuwa psychologically prepared according to how they voted.
Kuanzia saa 2 hadi saa 3 kwa nami Ruth Songa. Najua kwamba mtazamaji ungependa kusikia kuhusu usemi wa viongozi wa kidini katika masuala ya taifa.
It is our prayer and confidence that truth will prevail.
Maombi ya kila mwana Kenya.
As we pray with them and listen with them,
our constitution and our laws.
Ndio maana kila siku ya Jumanne kuanzia saa 2 asubuhi hadi saa 3 asubuhi.
Wasipokuwa na walimu vizuri, matokeo ya mtihani pia itakuwa ni shida.
LGBTQ tunakataa.
After the general elections, kuweza kurekebisha kasoro katika eneo la kisiasa. Elections are over.
Shukrani zetu lazima zitoke ndani ya mioyo yetu.
Unajumuika nami Winnie Wanyonyi ili tuweze kuangazia masuala ya usemi wa viongozi wa kidini katika masuala ya taifa.
Ni masuala mengi yanayojiri kila siku eneo hili la magharibi na pia katika taifa kwa ujumla.
Wazee wengi wamepotea.
So somebody was sleeping in their job.
Ndio msabo nilienda wapi?
Ndiposa hapa kwenye West TV Staftahi.
We are supporting the government.
Probably does not know his work.
Lakini hatujui kama kuna pesa ambapo kwamba zijatolewa.
70% inafaa kuwe yetu, 30% ikuwe yao.
So we are saying we are not stopping.
Kila siku ya Jumatatu kuanzia saa 1 hadi saa 3. Usikose basi kujiunga nami Eric Lumbasi tuweze kufanikisha shughuli hii.
This is the Morning Scoop. The right dose for your daily inspiration and insight. Join me every Tuesday morning as we bring you the Morning Scoop.
As we see more developments are coming up, the bus park is almost also complete. We have a number of things that are coming up.
Information is not just data, but it is power. It is able to empower you and enable you to turn around and bring change. Join me every Tuesday morning for in-depth analysis.
West TV, tazama ilivyo.
Good morning, dear viewer. You are so welcome on the Morning Scoop this morning. This morning we're going to talk to the government. The government is right here on West TV. We are talking about matters security, matters development, and we just want to interact with the regional commissioner, Mr. Irungu Macharia, if I'm not wrong. And then he'll be able to talk to us at length about issues at hand. The Morning Scoop comes to every Tuesday morning. We talk about various things. We can talk about, okay, we've talked about various things. Today we're talking about matters security and development in Western Kenya region. You see, every other time we stumble on issues, and when we ask questions, we are told that the government should have done more than what it has done. We want to understand a bit of that, and then we move to the next level where we are going to follow your comments, especially on X, West TV_Kenya. You can also follow me on X at Mr. Kitui, and then leave your comments. This show is coming live to you on YouTube. Please leave a comment there, subscribe, share, and always be a follower of West TV. This is CKS, and on behalf of my director, Kelvin Kibet, I humbly say welcome on the show. Mr. Commissioner, you're so welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here because we have been looking forward to this day when we can talk to our listeners, viewers.
Yes.
Okay, so that they can get to know what we are doing in Western Kenya.
Yes.
Okay, and we are happy. As you said, my name is Irungu Macharia, the regional commissioner.
Yes.
I've been in the region for almost 2 years. So at least I understand the issues in Western, and I've been in government for a very long time.
I understand.
Yeah.
That's a privilege, sir. Let's begin with a proverb. The proverb today, which I want you to start with, is that a family's views are always expressed through the child's mouth.
Okay.
What goes on in the family will come out through the mouth of a child.
Yeah.
How do you understand that?
Okay. You know, okay, if there will be any witness who will be trusted by everybody is a child. Because you ask a child to say that he is not there, you say that he has said that he is not there. Because they tell it as it is. Okay, and again, you know, it happens, how you bring up the child is the way the child grows. So if you are a very abusive family, you will even find in school that that child is very hostile to others.
Yes.
If you use insults to the child you also insult others in school.
Yeah.
If you call her a goat, for example, she'll be calling other children goats.
Yes.
So
because whatever she grew up learning,
that is, and it is very difficult to unlearn. Because at that very tender age, when they say man can see, man can do, they believe that is the way life should be. So it will be very difficult for the child to unlearn that. And that is why Waswahili say kumreavyo ndivyo akuavyo. So you cannot say ati mtoto aliharibika akiwa mkubwa, because it's the way you brought the child up.
So the blame should not be on me.
No, the responsibility is mzazi. The responsibility of bringing up a child the way she is supposed to be is not about the community, the society, or wherever, to the family views that you have talked about.
That's interesting.
Thank you.
Let's begin like this. Just your office and your role as a regional commissioner, especially in the region. How is it, as in, just tell us a bit of your office, its functions.
Yes. So us as we are coordinators generally, and we are the national government. And no, there are two levels of government. So us at the regional level, we represent the national government. So our business is what is in the first schedule of the Constitution about the roles of the national and the county government. So as we execute the functions of the national government at the regional, at the county, and those other lower levels. So as we do that, the core function, other than coordination of government business at the grassroots level, we also do main security. So as the Minister of Interior, our main objective, the main thing that we do is to provide a conducive environment for socio-economic and political development of this country. So mainly coordination of national government functions and collaboration through the intergovernmental relations committees that we have between counties and the national government at the county level, so that we serve the Wanjiku, the citizens of this country, as one. So ours is mainly coordination and making sure that there is the proper environment that you can use for your personal development, socio-economic development, and even a conducive environment to do the democratic politics and exercise our democratic rights in an environment that is good for all of us. Yeah.
That's very interesting. See, you have quite a bit of work. So you yourself and your office, you are not at the policy creation level.
You know, us is
implementation.
So our main thing is, I said, policies are made at that higher level, from the cabinet, from middle of the cabinet and the top leadership. Then ours is implementation and the dissemination of those policies to the Mwananchi. So we do coordination of, we do monitoring and implementation of government projects, programs and policies and presidential exclamations and presidential directives. So he says this will be done, ours is to follow up to see that it is done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of them have continuously shifted, creating uncertainty. For example, if there is a directive today about something, then the whole world will be expecting to be sustained for the region to adapt to that, so that it can be creative and work around it to be profitable. For example, what we are struggling with from July, most hospitals have not been treating people because they said they was giving minimal services because of the NHIF shift.
Yes,
the promise was October, but from July hospitals are not treating people. Then when it came to October, shift became effective, most hospitals have actually stopped seeing patients on the same. So that kind of policy shift, are you able to respond to that and just tell the viewers what's happening? The president himself has admitted, saying that there's few challenges. The few challenges in his admission actually means he has understood that there's a problem there. And those people who have been denied treatment have already paid money to the NHIF. So what do we do about that?
What is there in regard to policies? You know, policies are made for implementation. And before a policy is made, it is very well considered at the ministry level, at the cabinet level. So when we say we're implementing a policy, it's for the interest of the common good, for everybody. And when the government has made a decision in regard to policies, we rarely walk back. So ours is to implement. But when you say that there are hospitals that stopped treating people in July, I want to believe those could be private hospitals. Because public hospitals are supposed to give services to Mwananchi at whatever level. Because if public hospitals can say no, they are not going to treat the Kenyans, so who will treat Kenyans? Now those are public entities. But for private hospitals, you respect that you are in business. So, and being in business, you may see this is not lucrative, you are not sure that you will be paid, so you may slow the service. But generally, other than the technical issues that we have today, the implementation of SHA, which is expected, because even for the background, we say there are teething problems. Those teething problems will always be there, but we will surmount them the soonest possible. Because as of today, as we are talking in regard to SHA, I know there has been a problem in registration, and by last week we had already done 13 million. We have a target of doing all the population, that is the 50 million Kenyans. And we are working very hard to get there. And to surmount that one, because there are technical issues generally to do with digitization or ICT, such that you want to register, then you cannot register because maybe there is a clogging in the system or the system is down or wherever else. But the ministry has deployed ICT officers at every county to go and try to sort those issues, so that is done the shortest. Because the moment we identify what the challenges are, we move with speed to make sure that we come out of those challenges. So if you ask Kenyans today, there are those who are having a small problem here and there, which is expected, as I said, in regard to teething problems. But we are more or less on course. Today we have enhanced our registration. They have formed committees, intergovernmental committees. Like for instance, we have committees that are chaired by the CEC Health and the county commissioner in regard to registration for SHA. And we had a sensitization workshop last week, Thursday, with the PS. And the PS has been on the media and the CS explaining and saying what needs to be done so that we are able to overcome that. So the counties have taken that initiative, and we are cascading it to the lowest level. So there is that meeting that is chaired by the county commissioner and the CC Health at the county level in regard to registration and onboarding people on SHA. Then there is another one at the sub-county ward, and including the chief. And with this time, we are also making use of our community health promoters at the village level, and they are working with the chiefs, so that we get to the target in the shortest time possible, the 50 million Kenyans.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But then some of these policies also are made by the government, and then they are brought on the people. For example, the elders still hold a role in the community, but then the government does not work with them. It actually tells them what to do. So that also makes adaptability, maybe uptake of government policies to become a little slower than it should have been targeted. Because, for example, if we had an arrangement where your office and the elders in the communities worked on a way forward, I think some of the things will have been removed. We could have not had hurdles on the way. What do you think?
There is the belief that we are not working with the elders. Elders are part of this system. And that is why that today there is a policy requirement on how we are going to bring village elders and others in the national government administration structures. They be the people at the lowest level.
Okay.
And at the village level, where we have the community health promoters, they work either that households that the community health promoters are supposed to work with, they work with the village elder.
Okay.
There's nobody who is as important to us as village elders. Come to census, come to wherever, when we do the registration at the village level. And I told you that's why the government, the Minister of Interior, want to make them part of the formal structure for national administration.
You see, there's a village elder.
Yeah.
The village elder who is actually an employee of the government, so to speak. Okay, who works under sub-chief and the chief. But then there are community elders, people like Luya Council of Elders, for example. They are supposed, as in, they know what to do. They have a way of doing these things.
Yes,
but then they are not involved. Questions maybe would be how conservative they are and how do they communicate to the populations they lead, but then they are left out. Maybe what is it that they don't? As in, what is it that informs the government not to work with them? I've been asking them about matters, even health. They say the government did not work with them, but they have a better idea. I've asked them about education, because there's a very big complaint when we come to it. There's a very big complaint about the syllabus and how it undoes. It does not support our traditional values. So there are those things which elders have an idea, but then you don't consult them.
In the development of policies, as you know, when they are initiated, there is that aspect of public participation.
Yes.
And we don't want to segregate the communities into which group you belong to. Because when we call people to public participation, we expect those community elders to be there, so that they give their views. But if we say that we engage, like for instance, if we asked when we asked to bring people for public participation, they say you bring elders, you bring youth, you bring people with special needs, you bring women, you bring people in the matatu sector, you bring other in the boda sector. So we get those people as they are, including those elders, because when we say we want 100 people, there are those that we select, there are those that we invite.
Okay.
Then in regard to dissemination of that information, when there is a public participation, we also do barazas, a lot of barazas at the grassroots level. But you see today, since the inception of the national government, county governments, county governments has most of the times been facilitating people to come to those public participation forums, including barazas. So when you invite people for public meetings, you find that when kuna lunch. If it is not there, they walk out on you. Then tomorrow they say, what? So they don't participate. But when, the barazas that are working very well for us is the national government administration officers, barazas. Because a chief calls you for a baraza, you don't even ask for water. When you are called by a sub-county administrator, for example, people believe that county government has money to spend. Because in the previous times, they spent money in such forum. They give you your fare, they refund your fare, then you drink some water at the time's lunch. So there is no that facilitation for those grassroots meetings. So people really participate. What is there for me? And that is the challenge you have been having.
They don't see their contribution as something that demands their presence. They look at what they are going to benefit by contributing that.
People forget that they are government. And if they don't take charge and responsibility in running this government, it will be run by others. Then they will say they were left out. And the only way they can participate, I want you to carry one of these days to go for those barazas. You see what happens. Just take yourself to that baraza.
I have.
And we have agreed that what we have agreed, we said we want interactive barazas. These are not the days that the chief or whoever else for us, at least in national government, that the chief tells you, Anaita, Mama Nafura, speak. Babas, you wherever speak. Wherever, then when it is done, you are invited. Then you say, Mungu awabariki. Then you finish the baraza. So we have agreed that we have told our people who are in the national government that when we go for those barazas, they will be interactive barazas. So we don't just talk to those others. Ask who else want to give their contribution. So that you don't lock anybody out.
People should be part of it.
Part of it, and you make active contribution in those meetings. Because by them saying that we are not working with them, we work with them a lot.
The issue of barazas. You see, these barazas are they tend to connect your office and the grassroots.
Yes.
And implemented at the chief's level, they'll be more effective. But I will decide that if even in your position, you should be in one of those meetings yourself. Yes. because we've seen very few of barasas, especially from even the police. The police don't do barasas. And they have a lot of information which they need to pass to the masses.
The community mobilization is one of our commitments. As national government administrative officers, community mobilization to participate in development and those other issues.
Yes.
So we do mobilization. I'm telling you, a police officer will not get a crowd. At the police, I teach a baraza. So those people are part of our team. And that is why I've been told that the government must deliver is one. If you ask me today if I were to come for a baraza in Bungoma, for instance, I would ask every national government departmental head to be there.
To be there.
Because I also have a cabinet at the regional level.
Okay.
So I have departments for every ministry and the government department are represented at the regional level. So when I go for those barazas, they are supposed to come with me. We sit, you raise the issues that we have, we address them there. If they can't be addressed at our level, we escalate. So we have everybody. So if including that police officer is part of my national government, the IG is represented in my meetings. The DIGs are equally represented in our meetings. The director of the criminal investigation is represented in that meeting. The Ministry of Health is there. Like for instance, today we have a regional coordinator for SHA, the Social Health Authority. He is here at the region. So when I come to the baraza, the people have issues with the SHA.
He has to be.
Mama, tell them.
Let's look at security, matter security. You see, your office is largely linked to security. Every time, it's security, and it has. You see, all the arms of government, the provincial administration, to the grassroots, is security, and that tends to isolate you, because you tend to be talking at. As in, you tend to take everyone suspiciously. You treat everyone as someone to be as a suspect until they have a chance to explain themselves. What do you think? What do you say about that? Because you overemphasize the word security until when we see you, we wonder, what's up?
I think that one you have a statement that is not very correct.
It's not correct.
Because for us,
give us the correct version.
Because for us to treat everybody as a suspect, you can't be. Although we throw people in the Nyumba Kumi, in the spirit of Nyumba Kumi, and the community policing spirit, you are supposed to regard everybody as a suspect. Because in the same way, when you're driving on the road, they say you are the only Superman on that road when you are driving. So you must be careful about those other drivers. And because you don't know where you rose today or where you went last night. And when we come to issues of dealing with the terrorism, that's the same way we regard people. Just assume this is a terrorist. Let him be otherwise. Such that if you're in my neighborhood, I will say, hey, there's a stranger in Mashalia's house. And that stranger is new to us. Then the mzee, the Ruguru will come and ask him, do you
know that removes the African values from the government's setup? Because traditionally, we welcomed people, we welcomed strangers, we took care of them. In fact,
no, we have no problem with that one.
When we bring in someone in our community, and we even before he settles down, we start asking him, "Who the hell are you? Do you think?"
No, we don't. We don't. We have a way of doing it. We don't do it the way we think that we come to your house and start interviewing you. You know, okay, if you travel to Tanzania, you'll be surprised. Tanzania, everybody knows who is your ati kuna mgeni. Si mgeni atakuja jirani yako atakuja kutembelea tu. Because if I came to your house today as a visitor, I would come to you, karibu, mko salama, habari ya area, habari ya kijiji. Mimi naona una mgeni. Huyu ni mkwe wangu. Huyu sijui ni nani. So that in the neighborhood, for instance, when you come to urban areas, then people you find that at times we get aliens living in one house, 50, 30 of them. Or even there is a stranger, like we have heard in other places, people have been making bombs in hotels. We hear terrorists live in our hotels. So unless you are suspicious of everybody, particularly people who don't know, because you cannot say that Caribou, you live in the same village, then you are suspect every day. You know what you do. But basically, what we have told people is that they must be very alive to the threat that we have every day, security threats that we have every day, because they are always there. Because today, with the technology that we have and the ease of movement, today a terrorist can spend the night in Mombasa, and he will be here in the whole day, today in Bungoma, tomorrow he will have moved everywhere. He'll come here, he'll do some recruitment in one of the villages here, then tomorrow he will tell us that, oh, sijui nani amepatikana. We have heard it before, that people from Western Kenya wameshikwa kwingine. So unless you are suspicious of that, such characters, that is why we say security. It's not that there is insecurity, there is security.
Why are we so alive?
But we don't address ourselves to, you know what needs to be done. We should not address ourselves to security.
Yes.
We should address ourselves to insecurity.
Okay.
So in some cases that can bring insecurity in the community are the ones that we address ourselves to.
Okay.
Not insecurity.
Okay. Do you have a way we can use to like even communicate? For example, the Nyumba Kumi, because I've interacted with some, and they walk around. They are drunk themselves. They walk around and asking questions and speaking very funny. We don't want strangers in our community. I don't know whether you see. I said it because I've encountered it. They're walking around and they're drunk and they're saying, we don't want strangers in our community. If so and so has a visitor, I must know who it is. And this, you see, in our values, we have to visit our uncles and our aunties. And I don't have to be under 20 to visit somebody. I can be as old as I am and I can visit my uncles. And when I visit my uncles, I need time to stay with them. But then when I arrive, the Nyumba Kumis in that community, they'll take me as a subject. So that is, overdoing it is what I'm concerned about.
That's a genuine concern. Because they say power corrupts. And absolute power collapse absolutely. Because you see, we have been having a challenge, and that is why in Nyumba Kumi and the village elders have become, we have been struggling on how to mainstream them.
Okay.
These people don't earn a coin. We don't even give them airtime. But they work for us. I don't know, there are very few people who will serve you free. Good Samaritan, there was only one, and he died long ago. So these others that are working for us as Good Samaritan, there are people who volunteer because they know security is of concern to them as members of that community. But given a little power, the same way you have people who abuse offices. Because kuwa ni mtu mkubwa kidogo, he abuses his position. So we also have elders who think that they are very powerful because they are the elders and they are in charge of that village.
And they talk to the chief every day.
And the chief contacts them every morning. And they can even resolve disputes. And chief can ask them to go to Kareb and tell him, let them yambiri. And they know. So that's the problem we have been having. And I'm telling you, if you have that problem today, and they don't get a coin, what will happen when we start paying them 5,300 or 5,000 per month?
It will be trouble.
So people will start fighting for those positions. And you have very elders because it will become... But at least it is important that we give them a token of appreciation. So that at least they are loyal to us, or they serve us with dedication. But as I was telling you, in regard to strangers and visitors, they say, the Bible says that you love your neighbor as much as you love yourself. But you can never love your neighbor until you know him.
Okay.
So you must at least get to know who is your neighbor, or who is living amongst you, so that you can love them. How do you love a person that you
I think you have a point there. But then you see, Western Kenya is largely rural based. It's not urban. So loving neighbors is not a very big task because the bulk of our populations live in the rural and people know each other. So it's easy. But what I would like you to address is now is the matters. You see, we have this culture in our community where people take matters into their hands. We've seen lynching happening, and we've seen people are frustrated with the wheels of justice. And at some point, when we talk to your office or the colleagues under your administration, they tend to say, no, it is the courts. But our research shows different. The courts actually do work on the information you are
provide. What investigators bring to them.
Yes. So there is a little frustration on the investigative arm of government, where very little or when someone goes through that process, they tend not to satisfy those people who are affected. That's why people take matters into their own hands. Either they will lynch somebody or they do something, because at least that will serve them. I believe otherwise. Okay. Because you see the issue of blame game. I've told people that there is always somebody to blame. Okay. Because there is no way you can take the blame yourself. Nobody can never admit the ability that it is me. Even when insurance advises you, do not admit the ability. Nobody, if anything is going wrong, nobody will say it is me. Nobody will ever own that problem. If everything is going right, you will say, hey, you see, that was my contribution. So for those agencies that you are saying, they will shift blame every day, because you don't know to say it is you. So when it comes to judiciary, if it comes to ourselves, the justice system, when it comes to us, the people who arrest, people who do the investigations, people who prosecute. If you ask us, they will tell you, ODPP is letting us down. Oh, the courts are giving them very lenient sentences. Oh, the investigators are not investigating. They are bringing us files that cannot start the test of proving a matter beyond reasonable doubt. So that's why most of the cases are thrown out. But that blame game, I'm telling you, people blame each other every day. But the fact of the matter, in regard to what you said, people taking law into their own hearts, that one is a culture in Western. Oh, our culture is killing. Kabisa, I want to take it to that. Because I'm telling you, at least as a region, every month, we launch here on Azama lynching, or what do you call it, more than 30 people. Meaning a person is killed every day by people who take the law into their own hearts. But there has to be a reason. Issue. Let me tell you the issue. The vicious circle. Because the Bible says, you kill by the sword, you will die by the sword. You die by the sword. There is no way that cycle will end. So if you've ever killed before, or you are killed, it is very likely you'll be killed, or they will kill a man of your household. So it has been, because we are always there, and we have prosecuted people, and we have even saved the people who are supposed to be Kenyans before they even call the police. Somebody is released from prison today, ex-prisoners. He comes back to the village. He has stolen. And he kutoka jela, mtu tuchome. You choma, then you choma for the family, that other family. Then that family will take revenge. And the revenge is chomaring. Or they will burn your household, or even your houses, because you killed this Jew ever. So, and that is the issue that you are telling now. That is where your elders should come on board to try and sort that. But as far as it is there, the vicious circle will continue until the end of time. You killed, you'll be killed. You lynched, you'll be lynched. So when will it end? So, an eye for an eye. In your office, in your position as the regional commissioner, what should we do? Because some of the lynching has actually been motivated by some of the officers. You say the justice system. You say that we also have a big challenge. If you arrested Macharia today, the people will go up and give information, because you usually give information in confidence to us. We arrest, then nobody is ready to give evidence in court. So how do you successfully prosecute a person like that one? So the court will throw the matter out. Because there is no sufficient evidence, nobody is ready to give evidence so that we can prosecute this person. They will report, nobody will write a statement. The police will start moving around it, then the law allows us to give you bond. So you are taken to the courts give you a bond, 500,000, wherever, as we look for evidence. Then you are back in the villages. And people will say, no, well, this person was arrested the other time. He's back in the village. Yeah? So the issue is, I told you, if you want justice, it must start at your level. See if this person should belong where they are. Have the confidence and the courage to go before court. Sema Macharia ni mwizi. Alinibia ng'ombe yangu. Tunafunga. But if you don't go, even the government knows. It's a story the other time. It was arrested. So that is a challenge. That is our challenge. Okay? Because people give information, there is no follow-up. Whoa, time is fast running out. I want us to talk about two things before I let you go. The first one, let's talk about prevalence. What is it that this region is facing mostly in terms of crime? What is it, and what ages are involved in crime in this region? The main one is petty theft. Petty theft.
and drug dealing.
Do you have numbers to?
No, I did not bring the numbers. But at least because we sit in every morning, cases of petty theft, this livestock theft, because still 1 cow, 2 cow, but by the end of the month, they have stolen more than 30 animals. Because one was stolen here, another one in that village, another one wherever. But still, in regard to that lynching thing you are saying, if you steal a cow, then you are caught. I think what they have, a decision has been made that they must kill you. So the issue of livestock theft.
Those who steal animals, some of them will walk them away, but others will slaughter them there.
Majority of the times they walk them away, they take them to other places. Rarely do they slaughter there, because like places in Vihiga and Mumias and Butere, where those cases are very prevalent, they rarely slaughter them there. And in those areas of Butere and Mumias, that one, there was a time there was an organized group that was doing the livestock theft. And we burst that cartel the other time. But unfortunately it is coming back because there must be remnants some here and there. Then the issue of assaults, because of issue of drinking this alcohol, Bruce, Busa, Vutabangi, wherever, there are very many cases of assault. Like for instance, this time around that children are at home, there will be a lot of that. There will be very many cases of assault. There are very many cases of defilement. And the defilement is youth to youth, not old men with small girls, it's youth to youth, the school going age, the 17 and 18, 16, 15, and rarely 20-something. So that happens a lot, particularly in this area. We have incidences of that cases of defilement, early pregnancies in areas of this county, Bungoma, as you go towards the mountain.
Yes.
Cases of childhood, children pregnancies, early marriages, incest, bigger. And people really complain when those incidences happen. So basically, those are the issues. Cross-border crime, we have none. Nothing happens across that. It is in Uganda and comes to Kenya, except now brewing of Chang'aa, it is brewed in Uganda and drunk in Kenya. That one you have a problem because in Uganda Chang'aa is illegal. Then our Kenyans cross, they drink and at times bring some this way. So we can say generally, if you compare this place with others, around Luanda to Kisumu, that highway, we have a problem with theft on trucks and wherever. But that's a matter that we have been able to address. But basically, the Western region, as compared to those other areas, the 8 regions in this country, I think we are doing the best in regard to security.
Well, because it's in our culture, we love each other. We don't.
We are doing the best. We have worked in other places, but I'm telling you, every morning when we make our reports, you know, we rarely report suicide. Because there's nothing we can do to stop you from committing suicide.
But it happens.
Suicide cases are very many as well.
What leads people to taking their own life?
Frustrations.
The same frustrations I take you to court, you don't want?
Not really. Not really. You know, as you say, it is in your culture, at times you do a lot of neglect of parents because you find people who are 65, 72 committing suicide. Or even children who are as young as 15 committing suicide because maybe the parent is not responsible enough, or children are not taking very good care of their elderly people.
Yes.
So mostly we find that majority of the suicide are people who are yes.
Whoa. So no one is safe. Generally, that's what you're saying.
You know, the going is very tough for everybody, but at least we should be tougher.
But you see, when it's tough like that, it takes us back to the very first question I asked you, changing policies. You see, when the policies in the country are good, people can have confidence in the environment they can invest in. That will remove a big fraction of frustrations because people will be able to invest. Currently, you cannot invest a shilling in Kenya and expect it to grow. Something will happen tomorrow. Maybe that is another.
But the economy is doing very well.
Okay, to who?
But you know, when you say the economy is doing well, you know, we want it to be directed to you. Like for instance, what we say that we put money in the Wajiku's pocket. Like we are doing in the reviving the sugar sector, for example. You see that one, they are working very hard to revive the sugar sector, so that because that is what you mainly do. Then, fortunately, we try to make sure that when you grow your food, as we say, to be rich, wealthy is the remnant of what you just consumed. So at least with the intervention by government, there's a lot of food. Yeah? Because of the subsidized fertilizer and wherever, and other interventions by government. So if you have food, and we are reviving the sector so that you have cash. Although today I hear we are selling a bag of maize at 2,000 shillings per bag. I don't know how well you harvested in Bungoma, but it is one of our food baskets. So at least we have food. So the interventions by government, including the social security programs that we give, we try to support wazes, vulnerable, and wherever. So there are very many interventions by government, including the Hustler Fund, because those vijana who are frustrated, you just take money from the Hustler Fund and you do your business. But to do business, you see, unfortunately, you don't just get capital and do business. Because it is not enough to get money. You must know what you are investing in. What you are investing in.
You need to know. And
that is the challenge. You could be having money because very many people get money, and they have money that they can invest. But because you are not an investor,
you tend to
that money will not. And that's why you find that majority of the times you find those people who do business are people who are really, who know about money, and that education is lacking. You go to the bank, you ask him for money, I want some loan, you give them the business plan, but when you get the money, you do different things.
Don't you think that to address the issue of that assault, rape, incest, stuff like that, don't you think that increased number of barasas, especially from your end, will be able to address?
We do a lot of them. But as we say, you know, majority of the times, I told you here we need intervention at the household level, because these children who are defining others, including the wazes that are defining their children or people who are related to them, we require intervention at that level, household level. Then you have the faith-based organizations, the churches. At least they should intervene. But unfortunately, we are running away from the churches more than we are coming. Or people have as many churches, but they rarely discuss matters of morality.
Okay.
Because you see, the problem we have been having, including insecurity, is blood. I tell people blood. Because if it is Caleb, who is, for example, is dealing hard drugs, and you have married my daughter, for instance, you know I can't give information on you.
Because I have.
If it is a child who has been defiled and is related to us, we are in a family. Do you think anybody can go and give evidence against you? As a member of that family. If it is done at the household level, for example, a father defiles a child, his own daughter, you think the mother will complain?
Then we need another element, restorative justice, because the justice we have is punitive. So why don't we approach restorative justice, which actually now works with the elders now, the ones I've been talking about, because traditionally, restorative justice did a lot of wonders to them.
Those elders, you know, I worked in a place, I don't want to mention where. Then we had at least whipped elders, not elders, religious leaders, to assist us with the problem of same-sex relations. You know what happens? You know what happened when we raised that issue? We were targeting somebody. Then that officer, that suspect, I say, try, touch me. I say, who has been my customer? So including those ones, because it's a community thing. So when you want to throw the stone, the first stone, I say, my dear, you throw the first stone. Then I say what I know about you.
So someone.
So even that was there. You know, elders are also at that community level. The same was there that there is a member of that council. The blood, the person involved is related to him. So the only issues they address, if you brought the mother issues, ya wizi, ya assault, sijui nini, they handle them very well. Those ones will be handled very well. When it comes to those others, very sensitive issues.
Keep quiet.
We talk about it. We go to those ones. Well, those ones says, you know, if I want a baraza today, and it is very fast that I need a crowd. chief ones. Because he is their godfather, not their godfather, he is their boss. He pays the piper. So it's not easy. But it's fortunately, in regard to matters crime, the alternative dispute resolution mechanism is working very well for us. But for other issues, by the issues of defilement, the issues, defilement is about Kipka, and we can't allow that. Because we will not allow them to negotiate when it has involved a child.
Yeah.
So that one we don't encourage alternative dispute resolution, because I don't know what it will be. Because they say Reta Ng'ombe. And that will be, it is a matter that involves a child. So that one cannot be resolved through alternative dispute resolution. We must take you to court. So that's the difficult part of it.
What?
So we still have that problem for some time. But fortunately, I can say majority of the times we do well.
Okay, now time is up. Let's talk about education. You see, education exams are going on. You guys are supervising and watching and monitoring and coordinating. Just in a nutshell, just talk about it and then we'll end there.
So what we basically want to say is that we have secured exams, national exams since the Matiang'i time. And there is no more malpractices and the stealing of exams. Since we started putting the exams in the containers, they are managed by the Deputy County Commissioners. They have the keys to the container and the Sub-County Director of Education. Then we have police officers guarding the containers. Then the moment the exams is brought in, it is guarded on 24-hour basis. As it goes to the centers, it is escorted by at least 2 police officers. And we have trained our teachers, the center managers, and the invigilators. So basically, the way we have planned for this exam, we don't expect any malpractices.
Okay.
And again, we have convinced our children that what is being tested is what they learned. Then we have onboarded the parents, because in the previous times, parents we used to conspire with the teachers and other brokers to buy exams that were not the actual exams. So today we can say we have properly secured the exams. We did KPSEA, it was very good. There were no incidences. The children said CBC is working very well for them. It is relaxing, no pressure. And now that we are doing KCSE, we have very many candidates who are there. The issue incidences that we have is children who are doing exams while pregnant. At times they develop labor pains, or they fall sick, but they still do exams wherever they will be. So, but basically, we are doing very well. We have secured the exam very well indeed. We are thankful with the way the things are.
Are exams getting to destinations on time? Any
Certainly. That one, it is seamless. We have organized very good transport. We mobilize all the vehicles that we have. When there are routes, at least they leave earlier so that they can drop the exam to centers. There is no exam that has started late. And this time around, even NEC, when they arrange the exams, there is no exam that is going to Mount Elgon, yet it should be in Kimiriri. So it is getting to the destinations. We have not had those incidences. Okay, so we are doing the exams. Will be done soon in the next 2 weeks. But what I've got to say, maybe in regard to the same education, is that schools have closed. Our children are at home for a very long time, more than 2 months. And this is the time, it is still festivities, December, Christmas festivities, and wherever. And the majority of the times, as parents, we seem to relax, because these days, bringing up of our children, we have left it to the teacher and the house girl. So we find that around this time, by the time it is January, very many things will have happened to our children. So we want to ask our parents and to call on them to just know that the responsibility of bringing up their children is still their responsibility. And it is them who will regret if things go wrong. So we must be able to keep watch on our children, make sure they are engaged in the right of things, and we know where they are at whatever other time. We have done a lot in discouraging disco matanga, because it is banned. We don't want people to involve themselves in disco matanga, because when many other things happen, those disco matangas, and that is where our children most of the time involve themselves in unacceptable behavior. So parents must take responsibility for their children. We don't want to get children mothers by January. So that one, we want to ask our parents, take responsibility for your children. So regardless, a way of concluding, these days, the Minister of Interior has initiated what we call the Chiefs Climate Action Day. The Chiefs Climate Action Day, the ministry has asked all Ngawas, including ourselves, to have that Chiefs Climate Action Day, which is every first Friday of the month. So a chief or assistant chief is expected to mobilize the community, to mobilize himself, the community, and other staff to do at least 250 seedlings every Friday of the month as a way of meeting the 15 billion greening campaigns that the president ordered us to do. So we want to ask the members of the community to support the chiefs in this initiative, and they go beyond planting trees. We nurture the trees.
Yeah.
Because you have planted as many trees as there can be. But how many survive?
Okay.
Is a big issue. So we want to ask them to support the chiefs in this intervention in combating climate change. The other thing I wanted to mention kidogo too is the uncollected IDs. Because you have very many uncollected IDs, including passports, including the offices that we opened the other day here with the president. That people apply for passports, they don't come for them. People apply for ID cards, then the ID cards are lying with the chiefs or in the Huduma centers or at the national registration offices. So they should go for these IDs.
On that same thing, there are those who apply for IDs and then they don't take. They don't collect, right? But then there are those that are supposed to apply and they have not applied. Then there are others who have tried to get through to the application. It's a bit prohibitive. And then there are those who need to replace lost ones, and it's also a bit prohibitive. I don't know, is the government adamant over the fees and which we need to pay?
The issue is not fees. The issue is not fees. The issue cannot be fees. Because in regard to IDs, for example, when you are supposed to, you cannot say that you cannot apply for a kitambulisho because you have been asked to pay 300.
Well,
it may be prohibitive to you.
Okay, why can't it be taken as free?
It can't be free because we must run this government on revenue. So if the way people have been asking that, oh, revenue, tupunguze kodi, tupunguze ushuru. If you tupunguze ushuru, what will you use to run this government? And that's why we have been asked to tell people and tell you and ask you, Kareb, if you ask to pay 2.75 as SHA, pesa ya kutibu watu, pay kilo safi. If you ask to pay those taxes, because today we are talking about projects, the ones that you asked me, but you say, oh, the government projects have stalled, and you have not paid the necessary tax. So what do you expect us to use to implement those projects?
So the issue
is Kenyans must be very willing to pay
taxes. But then, when you pay taxes, at some point there is that frustration because you will ask, we've paid taxes, but we are not seeing services.
It's not. It is you who is not looking.
Okay.
Where the taxes are being utilized. Because we have been told by this government every time we have been trying to explain when we collect you 100 shillings, how do we use it? Because majority of it is used to pay debts. So what service do you want us to use when we pay a debt?
Okay.
So the issue of vitambulisho is not about payments. The issue of people being frustrated. Today you apply a vitambulisho, particularly for replacement, it can't take 3 weeks. I don't know why people don't want to use the Huduma centers, the one-stop shop. Go to Huduma center, use your ID, you get an abstract from the police here, you apply here with the NRB. You go with your waiting card. 3 weeks.
I think we'll end there. Our time is up. Maybe I don't want to close you out. Just 1 minute. Any final thing, burning issue that you have, you need to say. Just say it.
Okay. I think what basically I wanted to say is in regard to SHA, because it is the debate that we have today. But we want to say, there is Upinzani. Every time we want to bring change, people don't want change. But they say if you don't change will change you. Yes. So those changes that have been done, they have been availing the universal or achieving the universal health care in regard to from transiting from NHIF to SHA. One fact of the matter is that we are not going back. What come may, the ship have already left the shore, we are in the deep seas, so people must on board. So you resist, you'll be left alone, you'll be left in the shore peke yako. Because everybody else has. So people must embrace SHA because that is the way. So if you have not registered today, register. If you are not being able to register because of any technical challenges, go to a Huduma Center. Tell them I want to register for SHA. I have these problems. Go to anybody, go to a person who is in the know, including myself, asking me how things be done, so that you are able to register. People have a challenge in onboarding their dependents. But what basically should happen is when I've registered as a principal for SHA, my wife, the other adult dependent, who is my spouse, should equally register. Because she's an adult. We are targeting 53 million Kenyans. So if you register their spouse, for example, no, the principal peke yake, when will we attain that one? So we want to capture all that data. So your spouse should equally register.
Above 18s all should do
No, I'm saying the number one that you do is
father,
mother. Those who are above 18 are adults, they will register on their own.
Good.
Your dependent is your child who is below 18. So when me and you have registered, that is the husband and wife, then both of you will onboard your children who are below 18. So the issue of SHA, that is what I want to say, that people must be willing and register. Because if you don't, you'll be left behind, you'll be left winning when everybody else has moved on. Today, SHA has started working. Ask them. Go to the hospitals. Ask. Particularly, don't go to private hospitals because those ones, they have issues. Because they are said they are owned by government. But we don't owe public hospitals. If they are owned by government, it's they're left owing the right one. So they can't stop working.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. We want to end there. Our time is up. I'm sorry it took a few of your minutes. So let's just end here and wait for next week on Tuesday. I think we should be able to have the commission again so that we continue having various issues that are coming up we've not touched. On behalf of Kevin Kibet, who is directing this show, this is CKS.